Hello all you loafers out there, and behind me you can see the North Sea, but if you look around here you can see where I'm going to go today. This is Coastline Beach. Skremerson is actually made up of 3 beaches. You've got Coastline, which is the first one, which most people go to, and then just round the headland you've got Cheswick and then Cheswick in the distance. You can actually run all the way to Holy Island from here, but there's a lot of quicksand there which makes it quite dangerous. But hidden in the vast array of dunes are some surprises which I'm going to show you about in a minute. It's the East Coast main line and it runs right along the side of the dunes, but I've just left the car park and I'm coming along the tarmac road. I don't know why this tarmac road's built here. Maybe it's because of the World War II pillboxes, but I'm going to show you the first pillbox that was built for what they thought at the time was the inevitable invasion in 1940, and there's a whole series of pillboxes all the way along this coastline, and they're all still there, and you can just get inside them. They're usually full of beer bottles and piss, which is charming. But the first one had an interesting bit of graffiti on the side of it, which is actually covered up now, but I like the original bit of graffiti, to be honest. So this is the first World War II pillbox, and up till about 3 years ago there used to be a bit of graffiti on here which used to make me chuckle every time I came past. It was a reference to a cat. I can't tell you exactly what it was, but I'm sure it was a bit rude. And somebody's gone and painted this ghastly sort of camouflage effect in it, so I say bring back the cat. But you can see why they built it up here, because the further on we go up to the top of the hill here, the top of the mound, you get a fantastic view of the whole northeast coastal plain all the way down to Holy Island. And that's the East Coast main line. Give them a wave. But what a day. This is absolutely beautiful. And all I can hear up in the sky are the skylarks singing. Pillbox with a view. You're shortly going to see what used to be a bombing range on Cheswick Beach, and maybe the road serviced that in the past, and it was used right up until about 10 years ago and is no longer manned, but they still will explode unexploded bombs in suspicious packages. It's hard to say. So I'm approaching the end of the tarmac path now, and the National Cycle Network turns right here. And I'm about to head off down through the dunes, and this is when it starts to get interesting. You hear the skylark. I don't know if you can see it. That's a lovely sound, the sound of spring. I can actually see that one. They're usually very hard to spot in the sky. So I'm heading off down to the dunes, and there's a little cut-through path which heads right through the middle of them, but there's paths everywhere in here and you can easily get lost. And the running club meet here every Tuesday, and sometimes in the middle of, not in the middle of the night, you know, but when it gets dark, and we head off down through these paths, and I can almost guarantee we don't run through the same path twice. So during the Second World War, this whole area was a bombing range. There were 2 or 3 local aerodromes, Millfield, Eshot, Bulmer, that were used for the training of fighter pilots. And the pilots used to fly down here in their Spitfires and Hurricanes, etc., and use the dunes as target practice, and they used live ammunition. And apparently much of it is still hidden underneath the dunes today, so I'm sticking to the track. But as far as I can remember, I can only remember one incident of like a shell being found and blown up, but they still used the range up until about 10 years ago to explode unexploded devices and suspicious packages down on the beach. And we'll see the anti-tank blocks and also the bomb range towers in a minute. And they were actually built on top of old pillboxes, which were built initially for a possible invasion, you know, of the Germans during the Second World War. It's quite interesting. So here we have the start of the anti-tank blocks, and they actually stretch right away out as far as you can see, but they're all hidden under the dunes now. Much more of them are visible this way, and they're sort of positioned sort of 45 degrees on, flat on, because this must have made it more difficult for the tanks to get over. And I don't know whether they've been made in situ or if they were brought here, but you can often see where the timber framing was, so whether they were made on site or brought here, I don't know. But I used to bring the boys down here and we used to love sort of jumping between them all. Oh, just like that, as young as I used to be. That was great fun. Oh, except when you come to one like this. And then you had to jump off. So you can see the farmer's moved one here to get his machinery through. But it just shows you how much rain we've had this year, because this area doesn't normally flood. But you can see the blocks stretching off as far as I can see, and apparently they were all the way up the coast. If you can see the little dot in the distance there, there's one of the observation towers, which I'm going to have a look at in a minute. They're actually called bombing range towers, and this one is actually built on top of an old pillbox, so it must have been adapted either during or after the war. And you can see the old pillbox down below. So we'll try and clamber up here. You can see why it was built here. The higher up we get, the more of the dunes and the seaboard that we can see. And what a view! I mean, look at all the dunes there. That's just fantastic. And if we zoom round, you can see Cheswick sands, and it's a vast area of sand which stretches all the way to Holy Island. And that's where they exploded all the incendiary devices and suspicious packages that they found during and after the war. The tiny dot in the distance is the second tower. Just to the left of that is Bamborough Castle. So I've left the tower now, heading down to the beach, and when you get down here you get a sense of the sort of vast scale of the area. And the first thing you come across is a little island, and I've always wanted to camp up overnight in this island because it gets surrounded by the tide, albeit only maybe 6 inches, but it's just the thought of being cut off in a little island. It's just great. So the beach today also doubles up as a temporary golf driving range. I've got a gentleman here who's going to show us how it's done. Right. Are you going to hit that island in the distance? Beautiful. The tide is actually in just now, but if it were out, the sand area is absolutely vast. But you've got, the further out you go, the more you've got to watch out for the little areas of quicksand. And I'll show you one day how to get out of that, get out of quicksand if you get stuck. That's a sort of shoogling leg method. But I love running along here. I love coming out and onto the beach and just running the final 2 miles back to the car park. It's just a great feeling. And I actually suffer from bad tinnitus, and the sound of the sea is actually really good for it. But the way I overcome it at night is that there's a hero of mine called Doddy Weir, and he sort of gives me great inspiration. You know, when I'm lying there at night with sort of ringing in my ears, I know that there's more people in this world who've got it much worse than I have. And once you realise that, a little bit of tingling in your ear just doesn't matter, and you forget about it. And that's when things turn and you can sleep better and live better. The sea is also great for mindfulness. You know, if you've got stress or anything like that, you can just feel it disappearing away out. It's a fantastic feeling, I love it. And quite often I can come down here running and be the only one on the beach for miles. It's just fantastic. And as I said, you can actually run past the 2 islands, almost all the way to Holy Island and right round Holy Island. And on a day like this, there's nothing better. This is beautiful. Well, I've succumbed. I've got to get my running fix. But the beach is a great way to get fit though. And I find it a lot better on my legs, especially my knees. I'm getting old now, too many years playing football, too much cross country. I'm languishing off the end of the running club now. Hey. But during my footballing years, I used to come training down here and used to run along the beach, and then we'd come back to this hill here, this big dune here. We used to call it Big Dune. I don't know if you get away with it nowadays, but I tell you what, 3 times up this and you found out what your lung capacity was. It almost killed a lot of us. It's good fun though. I don't know if I could still do it. Oh dear. Walk the last few steps. Oh hey, made it. And we're back to the lake again. And the pillbox. And the tarmac track at the back of the beach. To the car park. Through all the dunes. The coastline down to Holy Island. And the fantastic deserted beach for a run all the way back to the car park. Beautiful. It's a beautiful, special place for me. There it goes. Oof. 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 Hey! That was good fun. Final bit of beach before we get back to the pillbox in the car park. Neat little cairn. Jog uphill, back to the path. I'm not as fit as I used to be, but some would argue that I've never been fit. So I hope you've enjoyed the little video and a little bit of history that's involved, but you've got to admit the coastline is just stunning. And although I've met a few dog walkers today and a few dogs who incidentally always chase me while I'm running, it's usually pretty deserted. And you can often have this beach to yourself. So that's the end of my first vlog, or vlog, walking vlog, and there'll be many more in our beautiful county of Northumberland. I'm incidentally Scottish borders, but I do live in Northumberland now, and I absolutely love it, and especially the beach walks and runs that I do. So if you've enjoyed the video, thumbs up. Please subscribe, ring that bell, and you'll be notified of many more videos coming along very soon.